Om Shanti, everyone. Welcome to the next normal. I'm your host, Sister Jenna. How are you? What's new? What's happening? America is bubbling, and in many ways, and please know I'm not on any political side, but it's just interesting to observe the energy on one side of the country, and then the energy on another side of the country, and putting together it makes a very interesting cake. You know, they have something called salty cake, you've got chocolate cake, you've got red velvet cake, you've got lemon cake, you've got orange cake. And it's intriguing for me to continuously identify how each ingredient is so needed in order to make it really maybe one of the best cakes, sweetest cakes, most enjoyable cakes that you could have. Our time today is about the power of one, and I just wanted to go into it. Many years ago, I did a project called The Power of One, and it focused on the contribution and the importance of one individual. But when you bring many one people together in a space, it is intriguing to watch the oneness that can come out of that individuality of many one. Now let's give this a thought here. We are living in a world and in a time where the drama of life is unlimited. There are over 8 billion people sharing our home. You have a house, an apartment, a cabana, a mansion, a hut. And how many people live inside with you? 1, 2, 5, 10. And the world is like our home. And there are over 8 billion family members in that home. Pause for a little bit. Give that some thought, especially for parents who have 4 or 5 kids in their homes, or for many Indian families who live as a joint family under the same roof. Give that some thought. No two people are ever the same, right? Even though we want people to somehow resonate with our flavoring or with how we are as people, it's always something different in people, right? But it's all important when you look at the complete packaging. When I bake a cake, there are certain ingredients that are fundamental. Flour, a pinch of salt, sugar, my secret sauces, maybe a little bit of shortening. I don't eat eggs, so I don't bake with eggs in my cakes, but I will put maybe yogurt or an egg replacer or maybe ginger ale. It depends on what kind of cake I'm making, and my apologies to all the vegans out there. But individually, just look at it individually, each ingredient is very powerful. The power of the salt, the power of the sugar, the power of the flour, the power of the shortening. And if I miss any of these fundamental ingredients, my cake will become a flop. Literally a flop. And if you look at the world at a larger level, when you try to remove, extricate, delete, get rid of a particular person, it will change the flavor of your life. It'll change the flavor of the whole story. You look at genocides throughout history. Look at wars throughout history. It never leaves a good flavor in anyone's mouth. Even if you claim victory, even if you hoist your flag of victory, it never leaves a good taste in you. Haven't you noticed? And so the point for today is, how can we understand and recognize the importance of everyone's part in our lives and in the world at large? Now, when I mix the salt into the flour and I mix the sugar into the flour, they're two different flavors and offer two different purposes. Does the salt argue with the sugar? You're too sweet. Get out. What are you doing in here? Or does the sugar argue with the salt? Oh my God, you are so bitter. It is too sharp. Ugh. Why did she put you in this seasoning? Why did she put you in this cake? They don't, right? They don't fight with each other. There's some way that there's a blend that's happening. There is something significant happening in order to make it a whole story. Whether it is Ukraine or Russia, Gaza or Israel, Democrats or Republicans in the United States of America, we really are all one. And I think what is happening in the world today, and perhaps in families, or perhaps in the workplace, is that we're not able to identify the significant contribution that we're all making in the larger picture. Pause for a moment. Pause for a moment. Because I'm not recognizing the significance of your role in my family, at my workplace, in the world at large, it leaves a very bitter taste. Because somewhere, somehow, I try to get you out of my life. I try to remove you. I'm not saying that certain ingredients, certain people aren't jarring to your spirit. Sometimes their behavior, their sound, their actions, their presence, it's like, wow. But even that is actually giving you an introduction of who you are and the role they must be playing. There must be a reason why they're the way that they are. But do I understand it? So in my teachings of Raja Yoga meditation, what I've understood is all souls, all 8+ billion souls, are actors playing out their part. And it's essential that I can focus on what my part is so I can be a part of this amazing tapestry of life, this incredible game of life. And that there's such unique ways, we have such a unique opportunity in the world now to find ways to accept each other's differences, perhaps, different flavors, knowing that if I'm able to appreciate what you contribute, even though your style is different, your language is different, your flavor is different, maybe all the world is looking for is a certain kind of an appreciation from each other so that we can collaborate with more harmony. I don't know. It's food for thought. But the power of one for me is about coming together but recognizing our individuality. It doesn't take away from who I am. In the Brahma Kumaris, there's over 1 million students studying the teachings of Raja Yoga meditation. I've not met one BK who is a carbon copy of another. But the parents are the same. God, the Supreme Soul, the Supreme Mother and Father, it's the same parent. But none of them are the same. And we still serve and work together on a whole. My message to you is, can you accept your own individual role, stand in that power, but have the understanding inside you are contributing? And even though the other person is different and doesn't do it the way that you want it to be done, if you look with eyes of love, you will see where they too are contributing. They're contributing in some way or the other to make the whole story good. And I leave you with that to contemplate on. Look at your families. Is everyone in your family the same? Are your parents the same? Are your siblings the same? No. Each one is an individual playing out their part. And it's really beautiful to see. But the magic ingredient here is, can I see with eyes of love and wisdom or understanding that even though they are different than I am, and even though their behavior might not be like mine, what are they contributing? They are contributing something to the world, something. And if we can see that and acknowledge that in the other person, maybe we'll get one of the most tastiest cakes, called the cake of oneness, unity, acceptance, love, understanding, peace, harmony, respect, cooperation. It's beautiful, isn't it? Give it some thought, huh? It's a little thought. Let's do a little meditation now together and take a deep breath into this concept and this idea. Breathe in deeply. Exhale. Breathe in deeply again. Exhale. I want you to focus your attention on just yourself, just for now. Just you, the soul, the being of light, the powerful being that you are. And can you visualize yourself, how you behave and what you contribute to your spouse? Just observe the way you think and feel when you go in front of your spouse. Visualize the way you feel and think when you go in front of your children. When you go in front of a relative. When you go in front of a friend. Visualize it. Visualize the way you feel when you stand in front of a stranger, a colleague at work, visualize what you think, what you feel when you listen to certain sounds, whether it's on the television or on a radio, or on your smartphone, or just in the atmosphere. Now visualize yourself what you think and feel when you are remembering the Supreme Power, God. What are you contributing? out of all of those scenes, you were that one person. And in all of those relationships, you were contributing something. And they contributed something to you. And it's the power of one. The way we all come together, the way we see things. Check how you're feeling now. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Breathe in again. And exhale. It's fascinating, isn't it? When you actually look at it from that perspective, changes the story. So, what is our awakened intelligence saying? And I have this incredible guest, my buddy from the River Ganga. Sadhvi ji is here. Sadhvi, you want to come up and just say hi and chit chat? So, Sonia, if you can just put the chair here. So Sadhvi ji, from what I've heard, has been traveling for the last 2 months. And she's passing through here to spend some time with her buddy, to just have a little bit of time. Hey! Oh, so nice. We actually kind of have a similar story. She's from Hollywood, I'm from the nightclubs. Look what happened to us. Oh my, something is happening in the world, right? So good. Today I'm talking about the power of one. And we also use AI to just sort of integrate the positivity of AI. And I don't know if Santosh can pull it up. So in each show, I'll ask what we call awakened intelligence, just to see if it connects with my spiritual intelligence. So today in AI, the power of one is a concept that emphasizes the profound impact a single individual can have on the world. Did you all hear that? So some key aspects: personal responsibility, inspiration, courage, hope and optimism, historical examples. Many historical figures such as Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela are often cited as examples of the power of one, showing their individual actions sparked movements that changed the course of history. So when we look at that, and look at your life, just look at you as the power of one. Who would believe that one day you would go to India on a trip, fall in love with India, with a backpack, fall in love with India, and just stayed?
It's the power of grace. You know, when you speak about the power of one, to me, that felt sense experience is not one over here that is separate from the one over here, separate from the one over there, separate from the 8 billion plus other ones of humans on the planet, plus the God knows how many other separate beings of trees and other species on the planet. That power of one for me feels like the power that we tap into when we realize that we are all one and that we are one with the divine. And so for me, it's really been an experience of grace. I could not say, oh yeah, I made this decision to go to India and to embark on a spiritual path, and I've made it happen, I've done it. It's been actually a felt sense experience of the exact opposite, of letting go of that with which I identified, the story, the drama, the narrative, the one with whom I identified as my story. At that time it was 25, and it had, 25 years of story. And what I realized was it was actually the identification with that was keeping me suffering.
Yeah.
And the ability to let go of that and to melt and to merge into the one that actually enabled me to walk this path.
You know, what's interesting, because it happened for me too, when that awakened popped, it popped here. I was living my world only from here. And I believed in what I saw. I believed in everything. I put all my energy in what I was seeing. And perhaps there's a subconscious part, and I know there's a subconscious part in everyone that questions itself. And we don't know when that questioning will actually pop open into an awakening. And so even with this show, The Next Normal, when we do it, it has been, of course, the teachings from our tradition of the Brahma Kumaris, but it's so much a part of my own journey, of my awakening, that is also happening consistently. So one of the biggest things that I know I've experienced on my journey is it pops. It's like being in the same building. You were living from the first floor, but then now you got another apartment on the penthouse in which you view of your world and your life is completely a different feeling, but you're in the same building. One of the things I never knew when my awakening happened was I would have to sustain that. In the world that only saw from the two eyes that I used to see. And you're navigating through this world with people who only look at you with two eyes while you're seeing them with three. What have you done to sustain the awakening where you don't close the third eye and just get used to seeing from the two eye like where everyone else is?
Yeah, beautiful. I think this is
It's intriguing, right?
It's intriguing, and I think when you talk to anybody who's had a deep and powerful spiritual experience, I think this is going to be the question, is how do we sustain it? And I know for me it's been a practice. It's been a practice of seated meditation. You anchor, you ground, you re-remember, you come back, you lay new pathways in the brain. What, in the Indian tradition we speak about as sanskaras, but in the West we speak about as neural patterns or neural networks. Either way, it doesn't matter what word we use. But a practice of meditation that's disciplined, that's deep, that's profound, that's a very important part of my life. And then also a practice as you move through the world. One of my favorite meditation techniques is something called niti niti, not this, not this. And when you do it with the eyes closed seated meditation, it's I'm not the clothes I'm wearing, I'm not the skin, I'm not the bones, I'm not the blood, I'm not the muscles, I'm not the chemicals or electricity in my brain, therefore I'm not my thoughts. But for me, I take that also into the world. So the practice is a seated meditation practice, mornings, evenings. But then throughout the day, it's that niti niti. That for me is my practice. So you're with someone who's seeing with two eyes, and they meet you and they're kind of like, and you just internally you say, niti niti, I am not this. Regardless of what their assumption, projection,
it protects you.
It protects you, and for me, it re-reminds me. It just re-anchors me back. And I am not somebody else's projection. I'm not someone else's vision. I'm not the way they're seeing me. I'm not the body. I'm not the clothes. I'm not the story. I'm soul, spirit, consciousness, divinity. And just as you move through the world. And so it's someone else's projection, or it's even a momentary moment of forgetting on your part. You walk through the world and there's a reflection in a store window or a mirror, and it catches your eye, and the mind makes some judgment about the reflection it sees, either a positive judgment or a negative judgment, whatever it is. And just the immediate remembrance of neti neti. I am not this. Neither am I the body reflected in that window, nor am I the reaction to that, the assumption, the judgment, the story. I'm none of that.
Sure. I love that. Because especially in a world where there's consistent mayas, illusions, they're constantly trying to pull you into a thought pattern of believing your identity and your worth is a physical one. Yes. And it is neti neti. It is not. You are the soul within. So listen, I'm just kind of sneaking you on here. We only have 30 minutes, but before I end the show, Santosh, do you have our Sister Gita effect? Because the show cannot be complete. As you might know, my mom passed away a few months ago.
Yes, I know.
And we are continuously allowing her soul to take her journey, but memorializing the wisdom and the love that she offered. So Beautiful. Please join me to watch the Sister Gita effect.
The key to enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is the master key to feeling great. It acts like double energy. It acts like a boost. It keeps the self extremely positive and behind the pull of negativity, while simultaneously making others feel uplifted too. It's as if enthusiasm opens a window on sticking other people from a narrow state of mind, gloom or despondency. Enthusiasm gives us faith in the reality of other possibilities. The word enthusiasm is derived from the Greek word enthusiasmos, meaning to be in God or to be in the divine. When we are spiritually alive and in tune, we are able to see, think, feel, and act in new and creative ways if faced with a blocked situation. For example, a person with enthusiasm never sees a problem as a problem or an obstacle as an obstacle. They are lifted above the pull of fear, doubt, or pessimism. Instead, they bring about solutions, create bridges, and rather than fighting an obstacle, simply dissolve it. Enthusiasm is a therapy that breaks the gravity of negativity and shifts the type of mind stickiness that seems to trap people in a particular perspective or attitude, no matter how harmful it might be. To develop enthusiasm, have faith in the goodness of life and in the original goodness of the self and others. Believe that no matter what happens, no matter how sorrowful or incomprehensible something may appear to be, behind the dark curtain there lies a hidden lesson or an unforeseen benefit.
I was just whispering to Sadhviji that sometimes I can't believe that she's gone. And Sadhviji was also saying, yeah, but you know she's not. And I says, yeah, I know. Sadhviji also by the banks of River Ganga, her mother also is now relocated from the US and is staying with her. And they're taking great care of her. So good day, everyone. Dinesh, thanks for your comment. Wow, today is the best of life with Guruji, Sadhviji. Thanks a lot to both of you for a peaceful and powerful show. Raj, but the vices come our way and take over a virtuous way of living. It seems like it's living consciously. Yeah, it happens. Got the Time says, nice to see you, Guruji, Sadhviji. Rashmi Ben, thanks a lot. Mukta, Om Shanti, Kambili, Christina, nice to have you. Aunt Senshin, good morning, the power of one. Remember, one with God is a majority. Lee, how are you? Gigi, Leowati. Hey, Leowati. Om Shanti. All right. And Nashira, Assalamu alaikum, brother. Nice to have you. Kailash, Shobha, Nisonya Parka. So grateful for your presence in the morning. Nisonya, very nice to have you. Dale, welcome to the show. Indu, Tulas Kumari. Om Shanti. Suhag, nice to have you. Thanks so much, everyone, for joining us today. And thanks, my beautiful friend, Sadhviji Bhagwati Ben. Thank you.
Such a joy, such an honor.
It is, it is, it is. We're going to do a nice little pre-recording tonight. So we'll definitely dive deeper into our conversation together. And in the meanwhile, if you want to break your attachments, please practice just loving everybody the same. It's time for us to do that. Okay? Take care of yourselves. All the best. And Om Shanti.